play of the game from way down.
True, silence. Rainer getting absolutely
A team wipe.
The living bombs going.
Oh my goodness, the ring. Bombstastingo gonna find Rainer.
Oh, the life finder keeps Maev up. It was gonna be a close thing.
And healing, what? Get out of no! No!
Triple stun again. Big flanks coming out from the Blaze.
It's a death metal though.
Death metal into the triple kill.
Oh, I gotta turn rec off. Hold up. There we go. Welcome back, everybody, to the Nexus Gaming Series. Tonight, for round 2 of our doubleheader, we have Spooky Ghosts versus no longer running with turtles. We now have Reborn Knights White going to be our second team. I'm gonna screw that up so many times tonight, I imagine. Welcome, glad you could join us in season 7, and this is our 4th week of 8. And this is a Division B-Wast game. I'm Arrow. I'm going to be your host tonight as we get these two teams set up. Let's take a quick peek at the maps that we've got going on here. So we do have Spooky Ghosts banning out Baraxis and Sky Temple. Reborn Knights White, who won the coin toss and elected for map pick, banned out Tomb of the Spider Queen and Dragonshire. Our first map is going to be on Towers of Doom. So, Reborn Knights White has had a pretty strong start to the season so far. Spooky Ghosts have a little bit of a rougher time so far. So, 9 points to 0 here. And the number 3, although tied with 2 others, as compared to the number 12. So, in the pregame chat, Reborn Knights White said, hey, listen, they're a number 12 seed, but, we're not going to take them lightly. We're going to make sure that we give this the absolute best and make sure that, we come out looking for these victories. So that's probably a good plan. Probably a good plan as we've seen in some of these kind of mid-tier divisions, Division B, Division C, that ultimately any team can take victories off of any other team. And even if you expect that you'll win, losing a point can be significant in the playoff race. So we'll see how these teams do here as we check in, make sure that everybody's actually on my list here so that we get the little pop-ups that show the heroes. It's always nice. So again, our map going to be Towers of Doom, so we're not going to see this quick snowball, unlikely anyways, snowball effect on this map tonight. Yeah, they definitely do have a couple of people here. So we got that one, got an Alazar. Okay, let's fix this real quick here. And there's Alazar, and who's the other one? Kooks? Kooks is their T-Pole. Instead of Master Pew Pew. The names of NGS, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that we've got everybody. Yeah, that all looks fine. So we'll be getting started here in just a moment. We have 9 players in the chat out of 10. Just waiting on that 10th player to get here and finish up. So apparently there is Heroes hype going on elsewhere. So of course, a little bit quiet in the chat tonight. So who's out there tonight? Who we got watching? Anybody have anything they want to talk about? Anything you've seen either here or elsewhere in the world that you want to talk about? They're all, there are 8 of you out there. Surely somebody's got something they want to talk about. So while we wait on Eric with a K, let's go ahead and pop up about our Patreon. As, there are a lot of rewards that you can get with the NGS Patreon, from player cards to mouse pads to mugs and rubber chickens. And we're back. One other thing that, at certain tiers you get special unique rewards, and screaming goats are one of them. Anyways, welcome, Red. It's good to see you. And Kooks, go Kooks. You have a card. I do have a card. It's kind of hard to see on the stream, but it's there. Let's see. So we got one ready. I think we got number 2 ready, and they're throwing out the spooky ghost emoji. So I think that means that they're ready to get this game started. Hopefully. Maybe. You can push the button. What are we thinking, everybody? I don't know what we're waiting on. Everybody said they're ready. I think we're just waiting on Silver Jackal to hit the button. Maybe. I don't know. Are these teams on the right side? I think they're on the wrong side. It's a good thing I caught that, everybody. And the people on the wrong side. Make sure to have first draft set properly. Guys over here. I would have been doing it the whole game. I would have been like, I was winning. Hey, chill. Stop it. Stop it. Relax. Hey, relax. Just a little bit of a, domestic dispute over here. As the dogs vying for the position of under the chair. What do we got going on here? Kooks is flipping tables in chat. All right, I think they might be ready to go. Maybe. Anybody gonna push the button? Oh my goodness. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight. I appreciate you stopping by, giving me somebody to talk to. Okay, there we go. We got the readies. We're doing it. We're playing video games. Shush. Shush. That's enough. Oh my god, she looked at me like, are you crazy? I might be crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Towers of Doom. Let's get into this draft. See what we're gonna go with tonight. So, seeing a fair bit of a kind of a 4-1 strategy with the double soakers. I've seen Malthael, Dahaka, even Greymane in that some. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see Chen in that. And then having a strong 4-man push, with a Sylvanas or somebody else that can not necessarily completely shut down towers, but certainly give the value, like an Anubarak to help with that. Maybe even a Zarya potentially. Who knows? But the first ban coming out is gonna be not who I would have picked, but it's gonna be Jaina. And Jaina's actually pretty good when with that 4-1 that I was talking about, allowing you to get the consistent damage out of the Frostbolt Qs, getting the burst potential. So I don't hate it. I'm okay with it. And do I even have people? Let's make sure that the players are on the correct sides on my little thing here, because I don't think they are. Yep, definitely not. Gonna have to fix that. Gonna see the Medivh ban. So Medivh allows for the kidnap comp, allows for fast rotations, the get out of jail free card. So it also helps to protect against the burst comps. So we may see some of that coming out on the side of Reborn Knights White. Next ban gonna be Leoric. So again, that double soaking potential from the Leoric. I kind of assumed that that's where they're going with that, because Leoric not often one that gets banned, but certainly, you know, that potential is there when you've got a solo laner who plays it well, maybe plays it consistently, maybe a one trick. Not saying there's anybody out there like that on this team, but I certainly know people who do find that particular hero rather valuable. We're going to see a Garrosh. So I imagine that some target bans coming out here maybe, but the Garrosh ban rather, also, you know, kind of okay with that Jaina ban. Going to be the Kael'thas first pick. But the Garrosh ban, you know, if they banned out the Jaina, they may have, you know, seen the Garrosh as a potential value tank. ST1 is better than ST3. I'm not following you, Warlock, but I'm sure that you'll take a moment to explain it. That'd be great. I want to join in the conversation. ETC Ana coming out. ETC getting some great value out of the Nexus lately. And Ana provides a lot of value potential. Gives the sleep darts to slow down and engage. Also has, especially for a mosh pit, a nice easy target to hit there. But can also provide a nano boost onto something like a Malthael, potentially, for that, you know, value double soak that we were talking about earlier. Could also go into the mages, which, again, the Jaina ban, so we could see still even a Chromie or a Orphea. Maybe even a Li Ming. Li Ming has good poke potential. But on the other side, we do see Phoenix and Lucio. Johanna going to be the third ban, banning out those tanks. I don't get the STs. Why are we talking about what is the ST numbers about? So I think here maybe they ban another mage. Probably if they didn't like the Jaina, they probably have an idea of something else that maybe they don't want to play against. And it's gonna be Sylvanas. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. I think that's a good ban. Sylvanas does quite a bit of damage, so. And as mentioned, she does provide value into that 4-1, so not a big surprise. Apparently, we're just gonna have to deal with the fact that I have no idea what the STs are about. Because nobody wants to tell me. And there's the Dahaka, along with the Greymane. So two of those heroes that I mentioned earlier in that potential rotation, but that works really well having the Dahaka, because not only can you do that soaking of the lanes, but if you really want to come in on a fight, you have the opportunity to do so at any time. Whereas your opponent may not have that. There is still the potential for like a Falstad or not really a Brightwing, I wouldn't think. So Falstad's really the only potential global. We're going to see Raynor and Nubarak. So I'm guessing maybe Phoenix is going to be in the solo lane. Although I think it's been a while. I think that Eric with a K was the solo laner for this team. And a Nubarak, man, that is a tough place to be in if you're the tank player playing a Nubarak, because you can't. It's a lot harder to cover for your team with as backline spread out as they're going to look to be, especially with the potential dive coming out of a Greymane Genji. I think maybe they could have made more value, you know, with another healer, maybe even an Anduin. But I don't. Did I think I cleared that, so that should be fine. So I'm not sure. We'll see which way they go here. So we get into game number 1 between Spooky Ghosts and Reborn Knights White. Right out of the gate, we can tell that neither team is going to win this game because there's absolutely zero portrait synergy. So we may as well just quit this game, remake, and go to game number 2. Right? That's how that works. Oh, man. So if you were around earlier, Recyclic was here, of course. So he's trolling through the cast, looking for the best moments of funny faces that he and I have made. So looking forward to those screenshots. But here we go. Game number 1, Towers of Doom between Spooky Ghosts and Reborn Knights White. Every time I do it, almost say Running with Turtles. All right, so on the right, we have Reborn Knights White. We've got DK Unleashed on Genji, T-Pole on Ana, Silver Jackal on Greymane, Alizar on Dahaka, and Kooks on ETC. And for the blue team, Spooky Ghosts, we've got Boundary X on Phoenix, Rogoth on Anubarak, Calidus on Kael'thas, Little Wolf on Lucio, and Eric with a K on Raynor. So we do see Phoenix heading right up into that top lane. So I was right in the right call at the beginning. I did get that correct. So 5 versus 4 in the middle here. Looks like a whole lot of globe talents, but it's gonna be Lucio diving in. 18 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. They are not wasting time getting kills in this game. So taking a look at those talents once again. So now we've got a 3v3 as Dahaka goes top, Greymane heading to the bottom. So Prog Rock, of course, Mana Addict, the Healing Globes Regeneration Master for Anubarak. So look for there to be a lot of contest over those Healing Globes. We do have the Ace in the Hole from Raynor, and Raynor. Oh no. Oh, can he make it? He does boop away Silver Jackal. The grenade misses, but there's another kill. DK Unleashed coming in to finish the job onto Eric with a K on that rotation, and that was a solid rotation. But now, Greymane being aggressive going into this camp, and there are a lot of blue health bars here, but red team coming right on in, and Anubarak misses that burrow charge. Kael'thas in a little bit of trouble here down below, is going to go down thanks to that Genji deflect. And Rogoth trying to make it out as well. Silver Jackal getting booped away by a Little Wolf. And they are going to get back onto this camp. Eric with the K coming back into the fight now. But it's 2 versus 4 at this point. Dahaka up in the top lane, soaking. Phoenix in the mid lane, getting a little bit of damage onto this mid wall. But ultimately to keep going over to Reborn Knights White. Did he? Oh, the sweet ones. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, with those sappers going into the wall. Son of a gun, really? How did I miss that one? Well, good job, Boundary X, on your kill over Dahaka. Congratulations. Good job. So we did see the sappers get into that wall, so they get up here, start working on this camp, and probably going to want to push that in. Triple altars coming up here in 10 seconds. all members of both teams are available. Keeping in mind, of course, that the red team has a slight advantage in this regard with the global of Dahaka. So if they can get Dahaka onto theirs, channel it, then Dahaka can come down, make it a 5 versus 4 in the bot lane. Power slide in onto the Anubrak, but it's just 3 versus 4 down here. You know, they're all about taking that uneven fight to give them the chance to get those sappers in. They do, so that is a wall down now, still a tower available. And we see the assist pings coming out here. 4 versus 5, Phoenix going to the point, Dahaka going on to the point as well. Definitely going to be Dahaka coming down first, but ETC in a bit of danger. But they managed to channel that absolutely no problem. So 2 sets going over to Reborn Knights white, with 1 going over to Spooky Ghosts. And that was a great sleep dart to make sure that while the team was chasing down the half-dead ETC, oh, look at this. Here we've got a potential gank. They do see the Genji at the very least. And Lucio makes his way down here. A lot of damage coming onto him. He's very low, but the the Impale going out does stall out the Genji from being able to get that kill. 3 versus 3 in this bot lane. Let's try to keep an eye. Actually, you know what? We'll be right back. Okay. I was gonna say that was looking a little bit dicey there for the two of them. So we'll come right back after we check in on the bot lane. 2 versus 3. Raynor and Kael'thas heading up to Genji. I expect Genji to be able to walk out of that no problem. So let's you know what? Let's take a moment and watch the show up in the top lane between Phoenix and Dahaka. See what happens up here. Level 7's coming online for both teams. We'll take a look at these. Mist Tongue from Alazar. Probably, you know what? Boundary X looking at that saying, hey, you know what? I don't want to deal with that. And it looks like a bit of a fight coming into this bot control point as the altars are coming up. Eric with a K taking significant damage coming out from Genji as he does the Swift Strike, but Genji pops that deflect as he was pretty low. Eric with a K, once again, very low, but it's going to be a death there. And a couple of members going back, trying to get up here as quickly as they can to help Alazar to make sure that they get the point, but it looks like both teams will channel their own safely and get 4 points each. And now ETC in the bot lane holding on to 3 by himself. He is quite the amazing cow down here. Now we've got 4 versus 3. Anubrak coming in, throws out that Impale, but just a little bit too late to actually get in and do anything. And you know, the rotations have been interrupted. I think, you know, if you're Spooky Ghost at this point, you have to expect that every single bush you go into has somebody in it, unless you know with absolute certainty that it doesn't, that there are heroes showing everywhere else. You have to assume that there's a player in the bush that you're walking into or walking through in the case right here. So we do see these sappers. That's going to take down the bottom tower, and once again the rotation coming out from mid to bot, but the sappers being protected by the likes of Greymane and Ana allowed them to make that a little bit safer. Level 10's coming online. Looks like maybe going to be going over to Spooky Ghosts a little bit sooner than Reborn Knights, and that could give them the potential to get this altar and even up the game if they're able to get onto it before level 10's achieved by Reborn Knights, but it's gonna be close. For those level 10s, we do see the Sound Barrier, Purification Salvo, Cocoon, Rainer's Raider, and the Pyroblast. And I don't know about the Pyroblast. I guess it's mostly okay. It's probably looking at the Ana. And we'll see. Here comes the channel onto Kael'thas. ETC's going to power slide in. Does use the face melt. He's in a lot of danger, though, and he actually does go down. Here comes the Purification Salvo. X-Strike from Genji popping off. Going to get stunned. Cocoon going out on Dahaka. And Genji popping over the wall there. Did get some explosion damage onto Ana, and ultimately she will go down. Now Dahaka running out with a living bomb here. trying to juke as much as he can, gets booped away by Little Wolf. Does burrow away, but ultimately just staggers that death. And so with the level 10s getting that advantage, and you know, really pushing hard, getting the channel started, forcing ETC to dive in probably, you know, a little bit too far. Well, obviously a little bit too far without his full team there to back him up. Allowed them to get that damage on him, isolate him, and kill him before any significant response could be had. And did I see a B-step? Maybe I didn't. So fair enough. You know what? Let's look at the rest of these talents. So we do have Go for the Throat out of Greymane. I like it. They have very low health bars on the side of Spooky Ghost. That's a fantastic pick, I think. Mosh Pit, and we are going to see a fight here now, so we'll see if some of these ults that we were just talking about come through. We do have the isolation as well as the nano boost and the X-Strike as seen earlier. Nubrak burrow charging in onto Greymane at half health, has to walk away. Eric with a K though has almost no health, and look at the 3-man Mosh Pit getting the value as who died in that? Lucio and Kael'thas. And Dahaka this time getting the return kill on Phoenix. Payback for that earlier kill. And is that tissue regeneration? I think we just saw Frog Rock, and yeah, tissue regeneration. So level 1 talents getting completed here for Reborn Knights White. We've got Mana Addict is getting close, as is the regeneration master for Anubrak. So a few more for those, and Lucio taking the quest talent at level 4. Look for that to get completed here soon. I mean, they have enough frontline that should be something that they can get with the 3. But ETC very deep in, once again, too far in for the rest of this team. Didn't have Genji anywhere nearby. Of course, Greymane is here, but he's in a cocoon right next to the keep, which they did take. T-Pole gonna go down thanks to the chase. And that's gonna be points going over for the blue team. And Genji trying to get in to get this mid altar as well, but ultimately they are gonna be able to channel both of these. That's gonna be 6. Well, I thought they were going to be able to channel both of these, but Kael'thas calling, either he's calling for assistance or they're calling for assistance to come kill him. Keeping in mind, of course, there's nowhere for him to retreat to. Greymane instead taking that retreat. And Alizar in a bit of damage or danger here. And Kael'thas is going to be able to get this channel going. So 6 points going over to Spooky Ghosts. And with that 6 points, they're just a little bit ahead here now, 22 to 28. Silver Jackal trying to fight under this fort, but it's going to be Boundary X who's going to go down there. Again, there's no retreat there. The isolation onto Anubrak, so he's going to go ahead and walk away. Again, they're still fighting under a fort. That being said, the health bars of the red team are significantly lower than the blue team, but they are fighting uneven, 5 versus 4, and the fort is there, and you know, obviously Anubrak Beetles will come out to help out, but not there permanently. But we do see a 4-man mosh pit. Every single blue health bar on the map in there. Rainer's gonna go down. The cocoon goes out onto ETC, slowing down the assault. ETC does get the nano boost and power slides out of the danger zone there. So only 1 kill out of that 4-man mosh pit, but what a beautiful mosh pit. You might say that that was the real ultimate mosh pit if you were watching my earlier cast. Greymane, knowing that they have this bot lane, is going to come in here, try to get this camp, but blue team showing up. Spooky Hugo saying, we're not just going to give this to you. Purification salvo goes out. There's an anti-healing grenade onto Boundary X, but it's going to be Lucio going down first. Rogoth holding the point, can't hold it for much longer, is going to burrow a charge out. ETC is going to power slide, get him and Kael'thas though. Boundary X going to warp, try to get away from the team, chasing him down, and Kooks retreating to this tower, doesn't have a whole lot of health left, and is trying to just stay safe as Kael'thas, followed by Anubrak, will go down. Eric with a K and Boundary X trying to get whatever value they can here in damage, but we do see that sleep onto the Phoenix. And so now we see 1, 2, 3 sappers at the line trying to push him in, but it looks like they're not quite going to be able to do so. But oh, by the way, we have 3 altars up on the map, and it looks like Dahaka is going to be able to get down here, channel this one. Genji is able to channel for 5 points, and it instantly swift striking to get over to the safe side here. Raynor saying, yeah, no, I'm not going to let you do that. You don't have a lot of health. I can stall this. May not be able to get the kill, but here comes Dahaka, and now Raynor is in a very dangerous place. Has his Raider show up to the party. ETC does get cocooned in the dive onto Silver Jackal, but it's going to be an ETC Mosh hits 2 Lucio and a Nubarak here as Living Bomb's going out. Everybody with red health bars are very, very low at this point. And blue is still pretty healthy, but they can't quite convert the kills, which this might do it onto Silver Jackal. Not quite, because he wasn't slow enough. And that's going to be a kill onto Kael'thas, but Greymane also goes down. So the only damage here now being the Phoenix, not able to quite get enough to finish the job on these teams. So that's going to be 15 points now in favor of Reborn Knights White. And don't count out any team on this game until the core is dead. It does not matter. You can come back and win with a single point on your core. You just choked on the cheese. I'm sorry, Red. Boss play going on for Reborn Knights White. That is 4 more points. That is 19 points total that went over to the red team, and suddenly this game is very much in their favor. And Genji popping over that wall. ETC once again a little bit by himself here, isolated. We're gonna see the slows coming out, the boot back. He's gonna get taken down, and that is the kind of life that Spooky Ghosts needed to stay in this game, to be able to mount a defense, get this pressure going back, getting the siege camp, and getting it into this tower and maybe into the fort even. But they're going back to get their own siege camp. That's fine. Looking to soak that XP. Let's take a look at these level 16s here. Is that what I think it is? It is. Increased range by 20%. You don't see that a whole lot at level 16. So we've got a full Living Bomb build coming out from Kael'thas, which has been actually pretty significant. Lots of Living Bomb damage over there. I think that's Rejuvenescencia. So I don't know that I like it. I don't know that I like the Rejuvenescencia with the very low health bars available on the side of Spooky Ghosts. I think that, you know, really the talent that gives you a reduced cooldown probably would have been a little bit better. But Cocoon going out onto ETC maybe a little bit early, but there's the dive in by Anubarak. The ETC Mosh hits absolutely nobody. Great job on them for spreading out. And it's actually going to be Anubarak that goes down by first. Isolation hitting the Phoenix, trying to get away. Silver Jackal taking that Living Bomb, does manage to avoid spreading it, but it's also Genji that's very low. Ana keeping those health bars going, and ETC isolated will be taken out. And so now Kael'thas going to go ahead and channel into this even team fight now, and that's okay. Reborn Knights White doesn't have to you know, they don't have to feed on this. They realize they don't have their tank. They do have Dahaka, so they're actually in probably better situation than Spooky Ghosts, but ultimately they can, you know, they can play patient here. 18 to 9, and they're about a half a level closer to level 20. So they're going to get the opportunity to take this bottom fort back, and Spooky Ghost is basically saying, you know what, we got to get these towers, we got to get as many shots out of these next altars as possible. So rather than, you know, defending in the bot lane, they're getting the mid fort, they're moving up to top to do the same there. And they do have a lot of damage, so even with the, you know, really fantastic siege coming out of Greymane, you know, it takes them a little bit less time to get the forts than it takes for Reborn Knights to come back and flip them back in their favor. So with this sap cramp, they're going to be able to take out the wall for sure. And now they're going to look to get onto this point. Burrow charging in, gets the Impale out onto Dahaka, but he's got full Essence, and Cocoon is still there. We do see the kill onto Dahaka. That's absolutely fantastic. The tower in mid lane was flipped. They don't have quite the tower here, but only 10 seconds, so I don't know. They don't have a global. I don't think that they can get to the bottom altar in time, so that pretty much guarantees that Reborn Knights is going to be able to get that bottom one. Genji probably not. Yeah, I was going to say he's not going to be able to channel that in time, but he at least can slow them down from getting there. ETC also probably going to be able to stall this out, but he's got to be careful. He uses that Bolt of the Storm to get away. And you know what? If you are Spooky Ghosts, you get 5 points to 3. That's a good trade. It's not the best trade at this point. You know, because if you keep doing 5 versus 3, you eventually just lose the game. But probably about the best that you could expect when you have the 2 altars up there and you're on the opposite end of the map. And now they do get the kill onto the bottom fort. Let's see where they go now. They do have their siege camp available, so I think I would have preferred to see them try to hold on to that bottom lane, but they're gonna come in here to the mid lane and see if they can't get a full cap, although we do see both Dahaka and Greymane in the top lane. They're gonna be able to flip that first, so no free points coming out from their core. And at this point, they may very well look at this boss. They see everybody's here. Yeah, exactly. This is a great call. Nobody can get here quickly except for Dahaka. Dahaka's not going to make it. This boss is melting. And that rotation on the towers gives them the 4 points and keeps them in this game. 6 points to 9. Either team could win the game if they get both of these altars. And especially now with the advantage of 5 to 3 here. The burrow charge coming in. Dahaka gets blown up. ETC very low now. Let's take a look, see if he doesn't have Death Mosh because we already checked that. Greymane goes into the cocoon. This should be a nice easy stun kill for them, and it is. 3 heroes to 5, and these heroes have been getting blown up all night. This is not a place you want to be. And there's the ETC Mosh, the Genji stun. Ultimately, Lucio goes down, but ETC is also going to go down. 6 points to 4. If they can manage to pull this off, this is going to be a huge comeback for Spooky Ghosts, and it looks like they pull it off. What a game! What a game. 14 kills to 18. You know, that whole game with the living bombs and the Phoenix damage, the Rainer spread, all that stuff, it looked very much like Reborn Knights was in danger as Ana was kind of struggling to keep up with the big AoE damage coming out from Spooky Ghost, but she was able to do it. Maybe they lose one player, but they didn't often lose more than 1, at most 2, and they were generally able to be defensive or even make that push. But Spooky Ghost getting the Dahaka kill early and then ultimately being able to get the Greymane as well. Clutch victory for them. Let's see where we're going to go for game number 2 here. And let's get that point up because I always forget to do that. So that was Spooky Ghosts. All right. And it looks like we are going to have Reborn Knights electing to go with map pick. So taking a look at these talents here once again. So the melee cleave coming out from Greymane, the Bolt of the Storm for ETC, Contagion out of Doc, and I think maybe that's what he was looking for, coming in on a flank to try to get a big Contagion onto the team. And Dynamic Optics so the extra attack speed, and actually range as well. And then the Genji, of course, resets on living weapon. For Raynor, getting the weak spot, that armor reduction at level 20, the rewind out of a Nubarak. Phoenix taking the singularity charge, allowing him to get more value out of those two, that W trait, whether auto attacks or range from his, I guess they're all auto attacks. Flamethrower, of course, from Kael'Thas, giving that additional range and so much value, especially paired with Ignite. And then the House Party getting the extra healing, and really all of that was pretty instrumental in their success there of that game. What a comeback. That was absolutely nuts. You know what? I have popcorn. I have a bag of here's popcorn sitting right on my desk. I had a bunch of it earlier, so no more available for the cast. Let me mute this real quick so that I can fold that back up. There we go. All right, so we are getting invited to the next game. Let's see where we're going. Indeed. All right, so apparently I'm the last, almost the last person to know, but we are going to go to Volskaya Foundry. And this was the selection of Reborn Knights White. So let's take a look at where we went to get here. Once again, we had the bans on Braxis and Sky Temple. We also had the ban on Dragonshire and Tomb of the Spider Queen. We just saw the Towers of Doom game, which was won by Spooky Ghosts, and now, of course, we're going to Volskaya Foundry. Now, Red, I generally agree with you. You know, it depends on the type of popcorn, but this is actually quite, like, this stuff's actually really good. It's almost addicting, even. I kind of wonder if they don't put, like, some kind of cocaine or something in there. But it is quite good, and they actually have a variety. There's, like, a white cheddar one, which is, you know, it's not as good as, like, Smart Food. And then there's a cheddar one, like an orange cheese, you know, cheesy goodness popcorn. It's like, that's really tasty. Just gotta throw that out there. All right, letting the teams know that we're ready, at least. I'm ready. Chat, are you guys ready? I hope so. Let's see, go back into this one. So, oh, we went up to 10 people joining. A lot of games going on tonight, including Heroes Hype. So we, not as many people hopping into the game tonight, but that's okay. Cat Peach, appreciate you with the follow. Actually, that may even, yeah, that was earlier. Well, I still appreciate you following. I do. I enjoy your casts. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, we got ours. That means we might get to play soon. So excited. Volskaya Foundry. So I think we'll see a little bit of a different setup. While a lot of those heroes could still potentially work on a map like this, you know, you could, in fact... Oh man, did I really have Alizar as Murden? What a dork. That was totally a Dahaka. My bad, guys. When you come back and watch this later, I'm sorry that the pop-up showed Murden. So it was surprising with how many of the players were kind of lower health heroes, but you did have a little bit of mobility out of the Phoenix. You had the kind of disengage ability for Raynor, and of course Lucio being able to give them speed and the knockback. Everybody's ready. I don't know why they're not pushing the button. You know, we could still see, like, the ETC, probably less so Dahaka. I don't think Dahaka gets as much value here because there just aren't that many Steam vents. You certainly could see a Greymane. You know, Ana works really well here. Genji, probably, you know, just fine. So, you know, a lot of these heroes could still work here, especially Kael'Thas too, of course, and Phoenix. So, I mean, we may see some similarity in the drafts in this round. But, you know... Something's got to change. I don't feel that Reborn Knights really you know, had a bad time of that. I think they had a good comp. I think that they just had a few misplays that got, you know, some of their heroes isolated. I think the two most significant instances of that were ETC once or twice. Specifically, I'm thinking down around the bottom altar, and then of course the game winner, which was Dahaka up there in the top lane. I think that if they don't have that, you know, kind of isolated one person into an incredible amount of blow up potential between the Kael'thas, Phoenix, Raynor like damage, then I think that they, you know, ultimately had the value there. Also, maybe, you know, and I think I even mentioned this at the beginning, I can't quite remember, but maybe, you know, another healer might have or ultimately worked out a little bit better for them. Ana does a lot of healing. She certainly can, you know, do the grenades and all that stuff to help counter what's going on the other side, but didn't seem to quite be able to keep up. So Johanna being the first ban from Spooky Ghosts. How did I not write down their third ban last round? Oh well. Maybe they'll remind me in the draft here. So last time they banned out Jaina Leoric. This time it's Johanna Anubarak. Clearly they want to limit the tank options, much as Reborn Knights did last game with the Garrosh Johanna ban. Zarya can get value here, absolutely. And Zarya would help with the big damage potential, the burst potential that was coming out of that team. And let's not forget her Graviton Surge provides a silence at level 20, which is absolutely disgusting. But we're going to see the Garrosh ban once again. Now, I do want to point out, and I apologize now to Reborn Knights for pointing this out, but that is the first point for Spooky Ghosts this season. And Ana, being the traitor that she is, goes over to the other team. But with that, Kooks picking up the ETC once again. Silver Jackal saying, "Thank you, I'll take that, Kael'thas." And now Spooky Ghost has to figure out who they're going to pair with that Ana. Maybe a Jaina. Maybe that's why they didn't ban her this time. Or a Li Ming. And that would... I guess that's why they banned out the Anubarak? Because Anubarak Beetles makes life suck for Li Ming. Although, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they thought that if they pick the Ana first, they lose the potential for Kael'thas. Maybe that's the direction they were going. We're going to see that Greymane ban. So they don't want to see a Cursed Bullet coming into their front line. We're getting out of ban number 3. So we've got ETC, we've got Kael'thas. You know, if I don't know that they play it, but if I'm looking at this team, I might want to see a Maiev ban. Nailed it! That's it. I'm done for the night. I'm walking away. Just kidding. But I did have to turn on a fan. It's hot in here. I would not have called that. So we're going to see Lily coming out of T-Pole. And Raynor. From DK Unleashed. One hero left for Reborn Knights, and the last 2 picks for Spooky Ghosts here. So I want to see a solo lane, maybe an Imperius. I think Imperius would do really well with Diablo. And then another damage, maybe a Oh, I don't know how I feel about that yet. Give me a minute to think that over. The Phoenix, okay, sure, whatever. The Arthas allows them to get the full value out of Purification Salvo, which would have helped them a lot last round. Urel, you know what? I like the Urel a lot. I like that a lot. I don't know. So you've got, I mean, I assume it's going to be another mosh pit, which is fine. They do have Wave of Force. They've got Apocalypse. They have on a Sleep Dart. So there are still ways that they can, get you out of it. And of course, if you mosh pit too close to Diablo and you don't stun him, then he can just flip you or Shadow Charge you before you get the cast off. So ultimately, that can happen. It could be and probably will be a Cinder Gosa with Purification Salvo, I think. And that might be difficult for Lily to heal up, especially if we've got Ana throwing out grenades to cancel the jugs. I'm not sure. So I don't know. I don't know about the Lily. We'll see. I said last game that I wasn't positive it was the right healer. I'm not sure that this is the right healer for this team, but we'll see. All right, we are on the game page. Let's go ahead and get into this for the red team, looking to score a point and make this a 3-game series. We've got T-Pole on Lily, DK Unleashed on Raynor, Silver Jackal on Kael'thas, Kooks on ETC, and Alazar on Urel. For Spooky Ghosts, we have Little Wolf on Ana, Boundary X on Phoenix, Eric with a K on Arthas, Rogoth on Diablo, and Calidius on Arthas. Did I say that right? Calidius on Arthas. Who's Eric with a K on? Li Ming. They changed it! Oh my god! My pop-ups were wrong. Hate it when they do that. I should just wait until the draft, or until the loading screen. But anyways. So level 1 talents, what do we have? We have Power Hungry, looking for globes. Diablo in a little bit of danger here, as he did go for Devil's Due, trying to get the value out of the globes. I don't particularly like doing globe stuff here because there's so, I don't know, there's so much time fighting at points, on points, that it's not always easy to get the globes. So I don't know if that's the way that I would go, but we'll see how this turns out for them. Oh, apparently we have a pause. Let's go ahead and pop off of that. Welcome back, everybody, to my beautiful face. Of course, Alice over here. Actually, Alice is down. Where is Alice? Alice is missing out on the cookhouse. Oh, she's asleep over in the corner. Let's see here. So we've got a frozen player. Looks like Silver was lagging, so we'll be right back into that. It looks like they're talking now, so I assume they're okay. Make sure they didn't set me as referee. They did not. So I can't even talk to them, ladies and gentlemen. If they don't set me as a referee, I can't so much as say a word to them. There's the countdown. And so it begins. All right, so right at the 1 minute mark, we've got Lily and Raynor on this point. I love it. Getting that as quickly as possible. They should have it, by the 120 mark. And a little bit after, but with more commitment of resources, we see 4 members of Spooky Ghost coming over here to get this down also as quickly as possible. Not quite at 130, it looks like. Yeah, just about. So lanes coming in. They might lose a little bit top lane if they don't get somebody up there quickly on the blue side for Spooky Ghost. They're rotating through as 4, though, which is probably for the best. And ETC is trying to knock them back to keep them from getting at least some of that XP. But it looks like they probably did make it through. So what do you guys think? Like, how do you feel about globe talents on Volskaya Foundry. So obviously, you know, not necessarily talking about something like Prog Rock, or Mana Addict, which is a talent that, you know, it just stacks up. But specifically for things like Power Hungry and Devil's Due, where maybe you don't get the effect at the time that you need it. Do you think that that's, you know, are you able to pick up those talents and make use of them consistently? Or are there maybe better options that you would take here? So, you know, specifically for Diablo and Li Ming. That being said, Diablo, of course, isn't just globes. It allows him to use the healing well as well. And disclaimer, as a tank, I actually don't play Diablo that much. And I don't mind telling people that. I don't like him. He's not my favorite hero. But we do see the support camp being picked up by Spooky Ghost, and almost with that knockback, Kooks could have almost maybe even gotten that biotic emitter. And Li Ming maybe inting for globes there, looking for that power hungry. But it looked like ETC did actually manage to get in there. Urel in the bot lane. Both teams have their siege camps going in the top. Kooks getting shoved back and rooted. But keep in mind, Phoenix has absolutely no shield right now, so he's waiting on that to regenerate. It is a 2-for-1 item advantage in favor of Spooky Ghosts, as they do have each a turret and the biotic emitter sitting there on Diablo. Urel joins the fight. Let's take a look at these level 4 talents here real quick, as this fight is just kind of a poke battle. To jump in, Urel getting brought down pretty low, has the negation on the healing, and biotic emitter is going to get used by Spooky Ghosts. Root lands on the Kael'thas, but I don't know that anybody actually expected that to hit, so there's no follow-up on it. Let's put this away. Urel charging in, able to land a little bit of damage there. Phoenix has a living bomb going, so has to back away. Calidius, though, in danger as Arthas and Alizar jumping in, gets the kill. ETC going back to tap as overtime is procced. And with that turret, red team will start to channel the objective. But up in the top lane here, we do see that the siege camp is going to provide some value eventually here for the blue team. Both teams now coming back, getting their turrets. Only maybe 5 to 10 seconds or so left on the red turret on the point there. And there it goes. So both teams pretty equal here. A little bit of a mana advantage over to blue as the root going out. It is going to be the gravity lapse onto Diablo, and he's pretty deep in, but he does manage to get out. Arcane Orb hitting DK Unleashed, bringing him down to half. Alizar now chasing down Diablo. The charge in from ETC, I think. But ultimately, it's going to be Urel that goes down, and the Arcane Orb's just doing work on the back line. Silver Jackal and T-Pole taking so much damage. Overtime now available again for the red team, but the root able to get onto the back line there. They do get the Diablo kill, so they're trying to stay on this point, but they have no health whatsoever. And now the blue team will begin to channel and may very well just get this protector. And now all three of these heroes are at half health. They have almost no mana on ETC, which means he can't do anything at all. And I do want to point out, because this happens so very infrequently, that laser hits both towers and the wall. That's how you need to do that laser. Making full use of the siege potential of the protector. 2 lasers really eliminating all of that pressure in that wall. Now with that, the protector sitting at about half health, a little bit under half health, trying to get some value in the mid lane there. I'm sorry, in the top lane to onto the wall. There's that laser once again, getting as much as they can out of that. And ETC zoning out the Diablo Ana pretty well, making sure that they can't come in to assist the protector. And Prog Rock completed at level 9 for ETC, so pretty good getting those globes. Let's take just a quick peek here as we have a moment at the Urel Arthas in the bot lane. All right, that's enough. And we do have the protector breaking now, and with Li Ming and Phoenix, I would have liked to see them be a little bit less aggressive, as we do see the kill onto Phoenix because of the positioning of that. But they do get the counter kill onto Kael'thas, so it nets out to being okay. And level 10s coming online. So we do have Pyroblast, Mosh Pit, Ardent Defender, is it something of 1,000 cups? Jug of 1,000 cups? Yeah, okay. And another pause. We'll go ahead and come back. There's always a lane nearby. Globe talents are fine here. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. We also have Rainer's Raider coming out from Rainer. The Wave of Force, of course, from Li Ming. Nano Boost. Purification Salvo, APOC. And it is not going to be Cindergosa. Huh. Rainer, or Arthas going deep into the auto attack build with Rune Tap, Icy Talons, Eternal Hunger, and of course, then since it's not Cindergosa, that only leaves one talent, which is the army. And it looks like one of the blue players, again with the... Actually, I think it was red earlier, but anyways, looks like they're doing the countdown, so we'll get this going back into the game. And with that, red picks up the biotic emitter. Kael'thas calling for help, I imagine. It looks like Lily's on her way down, so he's going to go ahead and get this started as Li Ming, Phoenix, and Ana doing the same on the opposite side. Trying to figure out which direction they're going to go. Now, keep in mind in the last game that the red team was very good about interrupting rotations, and here's a big mosh on 3 from ETC. They do get the kill onto the Li Ming out of that. And Little Wolf may as well go down, and he does, thanks to the Yrel pressure, and it's 5 versus 1 as Arthas also in danger. So ultimately, a fantastic mosh coming out from Kooks, manages to get 3, and they make 3 kills happen. They're now going to come in and maybe take this camp. I don't know that this is the right call. I think they could have just pushed in the bot lane. They have plenty of a wave down there. They could have gotten, you know, that wall towers and maybe even a little bit more value. But it's going to be all 5. The APOC going out here. Phoenix popping that Purification Salvo. Does get some damage out, but Phoenix is going to be the death, as living bombs being spread in the back of Spooky Ghosts. And I guess, I mean, yeah, you deny the camp from the enemy team, but you get no structure damage. The structure damage is permanent. I think that the structure damage would have been more valuable to them in the long run of this game, even if it wasn't bot lane. I mean, top lane, mid lane, wherever. I think that they could have gotten more out of that 3-man kill than they ultimately did. I know, right, Derry? Like, I saw that. How could they not take Cindergosa? Like, that setup is just absolutely amazing on a map like this. If you're gonna go that combo, if you're gonna go with the Phoenix and anything, you know, give them the assist on the slow. Because otherwise, Arthas just has to be right up in their face, and you know, too far forward, you end up with the problem that we've had with ETC a few times, where you know he got himself isolated with the power slides into the back line. Alrighty. Second control point B up in the top lane is all set and ready to go. Red team on it first, as Spooky looking to get their level 13s. Li Ming heading back to the Hall of Storms to get full mana. And of note, the support camp coming up in 15 seconds. Lily and ETC anchoring the bush, while Rainer on the point with that turret. And here comes Arthas. They almost have level 13, certainly will by the time he gets here, and they do. And that is the other one. It's a slow face smelt from ETC. So probably not a bad pick into this team with the Arthas and Diablo, although of course Diablo can just charge right out, not even worry about it. So here we go. There's the charge in. Managed to get the flip and APOC out there onto the Yrel, but it's Yrel. She got a cleanse. And looking for that Ardent Defender. There it is. Not getting the healing from it thanks to that grenade. And here comes Purification Salvo. May be able to take somebody out. Doesn't quite do it. The tank's having to pull back out. Kael'thas getting body blocked, but Arthas getting destroyed by that turret and Rainer. And it's going to be Phoenix. Once again, the first kill as Yrel pounces right on him. The healing grenade preventing any more healing onto Yrel. But Arthas now eventually coming down. The ETC Mosh hits Ana? Yes. And they hop into the Protector, knock her back, and that is a full team wipe coming out from Reborn Knights. And now they've got the Protector and an open map. I don't know. I think they probably could have gone top, but that's okay. Sorry about that. Had to cough for a moment. Didn't want you all having to deal with that in your ear. So now we've got, after taking mid, they're going to get down here onto bottom. All 5 of Spooky Ghosts are up and available to defend, although Phoenix in the top lane is going to clear out the minion wave, work on that soak, because they are down 13 to 16. This Protector sitting at about 60% health still, and as such, they're coming in onto the keep wall. And the only real damage against the Protector that we've got since Phoenix is up in the top lane is Li Ming. And there's a wave of minions right in front of the Protector. So 5 seconds left on this one, and they are electing to back out. They remembered what happened to Phoenix and Li Ming when they were in the Protector last round, but instead they're going to be aggressive on this camp. And there are many reasons for both teams to not want to be here, but ultimately they do pick this up, keeping them zoned out, making sure that they can't come into that. Probably that face smelt, that slow, helping to prevent that invade from going south. And now Reborn Knights coming back with the healing camp, as Spooky Ghost taking the slightly safer siege camp. And I think that that's a good play for them, because they know where they are. It gives them the chance to get something to prevent the enemy team from just coming in and taking it with the level 16 advantage that they have. So we are seeing a different build out of the Kael'thas, and part of that could certainly be a reflection of the map that we're on, seeing that double flame strike talent at level 16. And on a map like Volskaya, where you're pretty much in a very specific not isolated, but contained area, I don't normally take it. I prefer Ignite there, but I think that that's a really good pick against this team especially. And a lot of mobility coming out of Yrel at both 4 with the Hand of Freedom and then 7 with that movement speed on the charge when she channels. Diablo anchoring for his team, but we're going to see a Mosh here. The wave of force missing. ETC very low, but it's going to be, he's not going to be kept up with the cups, and the biotic emitter dropped as well. Diablo goes down and Li Ming as well, as Yrel chasing them down. Now keep an eye on this Yrel, because she is going to obliterate this team. She's got the jump slows, the Avenging Wrath there, the Hand of Freedom, and look at that charge. Instant cast, and she gets the 20% movement speed right away. And with that, able to help secure some of those kills with the knockbacks and the damage. And this is going to be a keep going over for Reborn Knights. Coming into this saying, you know what, game 1 was a fluke. We had our game, we could have played it a little bit better and won, but we're going to make sure that game number 2 is ours. And they're going to go ahead and back away here. The control point in the bot lane should be coming up soon, probably within the next... yeah, right about then. Maximus, thanks for the follow, and welcome everybody from Ziltoid's raid here. Glad you could join us, Ziltoid. I hope you're out there watching. This is going to be quite an interesting game. We are between Spooky Ghosts and formerly known as Running with Turtles, now known as Reborn Knights White. And this has been quite a matchup. 1-0 currently in favor of Spooky Ghosts, as they did get their first win on Towers of Doom. It was quite an exciting game. If you didn't watch it, you need to go watch it. It's crazy. But we are getting now the pings here. They want this fight. Spooky Ghosts wants to take a fight at this moment before level 20 is available. I think Reborn Knights does not want to take this fight. I think that they can, it's okay for them to even give this up until that level 20 is available. And this is reminiscent of the Dahaka play. And if thank you guys. Get level 20, and then you can steal the thing for them, because, you know, last round you had the Dahaka flank and it ended up costing you the game. This, you know, may not do that, but now you're level 20. You do get the stun and the kill onto Diablo thanks to that power slide and gravity lapse, and Diablo staying just perhaps a little bit too long, and I'm interested to see what ETC and Kael'thas are doing. The control point's available. So they're not going to have Yrel. They do have a 20 advantage. They haven't used ultimates. So they're going to get to work on this mid keep. And Spooky Ghost on the point. Excuse me one moment as I take a sip of water. All right, I had 2 sips. I think you'll manage. Yrel, taking her time, probably reading a good book. Probably some kind of Danielle Steele novel or something like that. And here comes Spooky Ghosts with a big push down here. We'll see if they do push Yrel off the point. That's fine, but that gives them the opportunity to come up and get the support camp basically for free. All right, so we've got 5 in the bot lane here, holding the control point. But I mean, there's not much they can do. I don't know if they can kill the protector, so they might just have to take this fight. But they're deep in and they're split heavily. This is a very bad place for that Ana to be between a Yrel and an ETC. There's the power slide in. And Yrel pops Ardent Defender to make sure she stays alive, but Ana's going to go down. Purification Salvo coming into the team. DK and Leash getting low. And the ETC Mosh, and now Diablo charging into it. The Wave of Force does not get away, but not before Phoenix gets taken out of this game. Li Ming getting chased down by Kooks. Might be able to make it out thanks to that shield. Diamond Skin, keeping her alive. But Arthas now in danger as well, getting chased down by Yrel. And your Diablo being killed by Raynor. And as high as the percentage is for the red team here, I think that they are able to gather this protector and likely finish the game, as the only hero on the map at this point is a 200 health Li Ming, and she's not going to make it either. So, by the way, catapults were on core through apparently most of that. So there was only a couple hits that had to go in. So 1 for 1 in this game. So we are going to go to a 3-game series. Five kills to 23. Much more in favor of Reborn Knights White on that. Taking a look at some of these damage numbers. Raynor going nuts. Followed up by Li Ming, getting a lot of damage into there with the orbs, and we did see a number of times that the damage was heavy into the team there. Lily able to keep up. I admit I'm a little bit surprised, but ultimately once that Jugs level 10 came online, was able to do pretty well with it. Of interest to note, ETC out-healed Ana. Not insignificantly either. And I think that was, you know, a result. There we go. Words are hard. A result of having a Yrel right up in her face for a lot of that fight. So there you have it. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back, as I'm going to take just a quick moment so that I can wet my whistle, because I'm talking a lot, and I need sustenance in the form of water. So, gonna set up a 2-minute break, and we'll come right back. Don't go anywhere.
When I was young, I lived a life of recklessness. In my selfishness, I inflicted pain and hurt those I cared for. I have learned many lessons in my struggles with doubt and fear. Balance and harmony are not easily attained. They must be fought for! But on my journey, I have learned another lesson. You do not have to fight alone.
Let's do this! Woohoo!
Play of the game from way down.
True, Silence and Rain are getting absolutely
A team wipe.
The living bombs going.
Oh my goodness, the ring! Bob says Nico gonna find Rain!
Welcome back, everybody. Arrow here. We're gonna finish out this 3-game series between Spooky Ghosts and Reborn Knights White, as we are now going into game number 3. Let's take a look at where we're going. So we saw Towers of Doom, which was won by Spooky Ghosts. Spooky Ghosts, if you guys come back and watch this later, give us a logo, something. We want to see. We want something to represent you. But Spooky Ghosts taking game number 1 on Towers of Doom, a very exciting game. Make sure you go back and watch it later if you haven't. Game number 2 was on Volskaya Foundry, which was won by Reborn Knights White. And game number 3 is going to be on Alterac Pass. And guess what? We're already in the draft. So we're going to go ahead and flip over to the draft and see what we get. So we've seen some significant tank bannage as Garrosh and Johanna banned out by Johanna by different teams. Game 1 and Game 2. Anubrak also being banned out, as well as I guess Leoric's not a tank, but he was banned out. So we'll see what we get out of this round. So generally, so the last game they banned out Johanna first. I get the only one that they really that Johanna directly affected with the blinds, for example, was Phoenix. I'm not sure that if they took Cinder Ghost to there, by the way, I don't know that it necessarily would have made all the difference. But I felt like, much like in game 1, I felt like a lot of the purification salvos didn't quite get the value they could have. So maybe I think the APOC was a direct, take because of the ETC. And you know what? If Li Ming doesn't miss that mosh in the bottom, of at that near the end of that game, I think that maybe we have a different game. Maybe same result, but you know, they ultimately could have stuck it out a little bit longer. So we're going to see the Jaina and Anubarak bands. Be interested to see if, with this first pick, if we see a Sylvanas, because I think we've seen... Did we see Sylvanas band? Maybe that was game 1. Oh, never mind. I guess we're not going to see a Sylvanas. So they banned Garrosh in the second ban each game. Garrosh can be kind of a pain in the neck here too, again, because of the positioning of where you need to be, and if you're gonna go in, Garrosh is kind of a, you know, make you lose that harder kind of hero, but they actually banned Kael'thas. And we have seen Medivh banned both game 1 and game 2, and that is an instant lock. So I guess we're gonna see now if the Medivh play is worth the bans. And on a map like this, I could see that. The prison camps have a very specific location that you have to defend, so portals can really help, as well as the Force of Will. But it's going to once again be ETC, and now Greymane for Silver Jackal. Greymane has made quite the resurgence of play in NGS since his boost about a month or so ago, getting that extra auto attack damage. We're going to see now Diablo and Gul'dan. So Gul'dan, again, also able to get pretty good value out of those corruptions and Fell Flames into the teams in a map like this. Third ban, what are we looking for? Healer still potentially, so they could still look at even the Ana, because the Sleep Dart could work. Stukov works. Helps to prevent the ETC Mosh, also has, with the Silence, also has the Flailing Swipe and Massive Shove, either of which would be great tools against the Greymane. And you know, I wouldn't necessarily hate to see a Brightwing on the side of Spooky Ghosts. Giving them the value of a global. They have Medivh to kind of help to soften the burst potential, to also help kind of supplement the lesser base healing from Brightwing. But maybe they go with a healer that has a little bit more value. So going into that Lunara and Lily, so you know what? I questioned the Lily last game, it worked out, so I'm not going to question it this game. So they do go with the Ana. And now they need, I don't know. I mean, I would like to see another Imperious, but Boundary has played Phoenix twice. Nara, huh? So, all right. So be it. So what did we see last game out of Alizar? Alizar played the Yrel. I mean, it wouldn't be terrible here. You could even potentially look at a Varian. Even a Taunt Varian would be pretty solid against this. So there's the Imperious that I mentioned earlier. Just on the wrong side. So it'll be interesting to see how the Imperious plays into this. With the Greymane, so they've got kind of a weird setup. They've got Lunara for the overall, you know, sustained damage from her poisons, spreading with the Splintered Spear. I don't think I mean, Lily can probably keep up as long as they're not bad about positioning into the Echoed Corruption, right? Let's make sure that they didn't change on me again here. Alazar over there, T-Pole, DK Unleashed, Eric, Rogoth. Yeah, okay, they got everybody where they need to be. Good deal. So we're going into game number 3, ladies and gentlemen, on Alterac Pass. Just before midnight Eastern time. It's okay, though. We don't have anything better to do. Sleep is for the weak, right? And here we go. Let's go ahead and start off with the red team, because that's where it loaded me. We've got DK Unleashed on Lunara, Alazar on Imperius, Silver Jackal on Greymane, Kooks on ETC, and T-Pole on Lily. That is for Reborn Knights White. For Spooky Ghosts, we have Boundary X on Phoenix, Callidius on Gul'dan, Rogoth on Diablo, Little Wolf is going to be on Ana, and Eric with a K on Medivh. So right out of the gate, what do we got here? Echoed Corruption. We do see the Devil's Due. This is the ability one, right? Yeah, Viciousness for Greymane. The reveal for her Toxin. Free drinks. Getting that extra healing when you're... I'm sorry, not healing. Mana reduction, right? Yeah, mana reduction for Lily. Level 1. And lane's already going here for Greymane in the bot lane, Imperius and Phoenix up in the top lane. I think that is a tougher battle for Imperius in general if Phoenix is good about not getting hit by the Celestial Charge. I kind of expected him to get hit there, so I wanted to make sure we saw that. And camps now available at the 1 minute mark here. We'll see if either of the teams elects to go over there, but we are seeing a 4-man rotation here, especially with the Medivh portals, allowing them to hop right over the slowing mud. Chat, you guys are quiet out there tonight. Who do you think's gonna win this game? It was pretty decisive for Reborn Knights last game, but don't count Spooky Ghosts out. They did get that first game. Came back with quite the signs of life late in that game. Really turned it around to secure that victory. So, you know, I don't know. I think if I'm looking at these drafts, that Spooky's got a lot of potential value here, especially getting that nano boost going out. First camp secured by Reborn Knights, and we do see Spooky Ghosts heading over there as well to get theirs. It's going to be just a little bit later, and the camp's coming up here soon. We do see they are in the top half of the map. Alazar does get that Celestial Charge, trying to get that damage onto Phoenix. Ultimately, he should be able to warp away if he needs to, but he doesn't. He's safe. And portal coming out, allowing them to get away from the wall if they want to, or engage in on the Diablo. And here come the prison camps. Getting the portals coming down here, and interesting to see that flock of ravens hovering over the heads of each of the Spooky Ghosts. I suppose that's not a flock. It's a murder. Murder. I wonder, murder you out there? Are you watching tonight? You might be watching. So Spooky Ghosts coming over here, start working on the camp. Might want to try to get this channel, but they are a little bit split. They do still have Medivh, of course, nearby. The Celestial Charge misses. Greymane diving in. Callidius trying to get some healing here from his life drain. Alazar in danger, very low. It's going to be the first kill of the game. But Gul'dan not out of the woods, as he has some Lunara dot damage. And if she has crippling spores, that becomes a dead Gul'dan, as the damage coming out from Lunara's toxin actually slightly greater than the healing from the well in general. depending on your levels, of course. So we are going to see Spooky Ghost coming in with the camp invade. I think this is really questionable as all 5 of them are up, and now the Celestial Charge after the power slide. Little Wolf quite in danger on Ana, the pinging to kill her, and it is going to happen. Diablo staying on the point here. The channel going over to Reborn Knights, and now Diablo trying to get away using that portal. And while Reborn Knights are very well damaged, that was really difficult play. And there goes Medivh and Gul'dan now. 4 kills in that invade attempt. Oh, these are ravens, not crows. I'm sorry, that's true. That's true. So, all right. So Spooky Ghost took a bad play. Level 6 to level 7. We do have those level 7 talents up for you here. And here comes the portals over the wall to get the channel stalled out, and 6.2 seconds left for the red team. Indeed. Imagine running down the Medivh comp. Yep. And we see the reset of those stacks, of course, so Medivh gonna have to get that started up again here, as Phoenix electing to go up into the top lane for just the briefest of moments, maybe trying to get a better angle, not show off where he's located. The power slide in onto Diablo and Gul'dan, the Celestial Charge as well. No significant damage onto them, actually going the other direction onto Imperius, getting just walloped. But Lunara somewhere manages to kill the Medivh. Didn't even see that one. Might have to go back and see what you guys see if I can catch that. Power slide coming in, does get the unstoppable coming out from Lili, as Face Melt knocking them back. So 1 for 1 here. The health bar is very low on the side of Reborn Knights, so we'll see where this goes. We have pretty healthy blue team, pretty solid mana bars, and Kook's now in danger from Phoenix, but Imperius coming in does get the Celestial Charge, but ETC just says, you know, I'm too low to follow up on that. I can't make that happen. 20 seconds to go as ETC gets charged into the wall and thrown behind, and that does not look like a comfortable position for ETC, but it's okay. He's dead. He'll be back. Eric with a K in danger now. Very low, but the damage going out from Gul'dan onto everybody with a red health bar. So currently Medivh sitting at 4 stacks now. Greymane diving in onto the Gul'dan is able to walk away as Gul'dan starts to life drain him, but ultimately the Diablo flip will kill the wolf. And we see the first objective of the game, the first cavalry coming out for the blue team, Spooky Ghosts. And we see Ana trying to keep her team healed up. Spooky Ghosts splitting up, trying to get as much soak value as they can. They're nearly a level behind, and it looks like they're going to push in the bot lane. Danger pings coming out from Lunara as she's a little close there, but hoppity hops her way away from that Diablo. And here we go, 4 of Reborn Knights coming in. They do have their ultimates now, so let's take a look at those. We've got the but Gul'dan manages to get the portal out after the hop from Lunara. And check that out, the flip making the ETC gets leylined in midair, the Horrify going out, and it's going to be Gul'dan that pays for it with his life. Has no damage able to complete the kill onto that Lunara that went straight into the fort. So a little bit far forward to be able to make that happen. We do see the top lane manages to go down as Phoenix did get that pressure, but now here we go, portaling in with 3, leaving behind the Ana, and Ana could very well just die here. Protect going out to try to keep her alive. Diablo also trying to do so just with his body. Little Wolf doesn't have a whole lot to offer there as Lunara's dot damage brings her very low, and of course Ana doesn't have any way to heal herself other than that grenade, and it's just enough to keep her alive. Well, Hoppity hips. Yeah, there we go. Hoppity hips. Yeah, it was like there was a thing that I called in Wrath of the Lich King. The oh shoot, now I forgot what it was. I was gonna say it and then I got backwards. Hot bixes. Yeah, there was a hot bix instead of a hitbox. I was complaining about that because we were talking about the hot fix of the hitbox, and I just threw words together. So you know, I like to make it a little bit of a challenge to figure out what words we're talking about. So interestingly enough, we see Spooky Ghost coming down here onto this boss, and Lunara and ETC are fairly nearby. Boss is only at half. Diablo's coming down now as well, but they're not sniffing this out. This is going to be a win. Here comes the Wisp, but ultimately it's just too late. Leyline Seal coming out to keep ETC from doing anything about it. Nano boost onto Gul'dan a little bit early there, so we do see 2 ultimates traded for that boss, but the boss is also in the near lane, so they can still fairly easily rotate up to get the camp. And they're moving up here to try to prevent their fort from going down, and it looks like they do succeed here. Bottom lane, that boss, I don't think it's going to get the fort, but if they can get this camp started, then it's all worth it for them, but maybe not. Yeah, the face melt comes out, prevents the channel from Phoenix. And here they come, Silver Jackal mounting up, trying to get in there. The Celestial Charge onto Phoenix, but the Shadow Charge from Diablo onto the Angel there. There's the APOC stopping the mosh pit early so that he can walk out of it, but he doesn't quite make it. Gul'dan's going to be the first kill. Now Diablo being chased down. The Angelic Armament's just obliterating his health bar. And that is a 2-for-0 trade so far for Reborn Knights. Phoenix very low. Probably gets killed by Lunara here, and if Ana's not careful, well, maybe not. Ana able to keep him alive at the last moment there with that grenade and healing dart. 13 coming up shortly for Spooky Ghosts. They do have the advantage, as I was incorrect. They did get this fort. They have the fort in the top lane as well. But expect, there's the lane. Oh, what's going to happen here? We've got a 3-man ley line. There's the Horrify, but it doesn't look like anybody really got hit by it. 2-man Protect coming out as Phoenix getting chased down by Greymane is going to warp away. Alazar in danger as the life drain coming out. Calidius and whoever's playing Diablo getting just destroyed. Silver Jackal taking so much healing from the Lily jugs, but not quite enough to finish the job. So a 2-for-1 trade now in favor this time of Spooky Ghosts. They've got the kill onto Imperius as well as Greymane, so that's a lot of their potential lockdown and burst potential. And there's the power slide in, knocking them back as he doesn't have Mosh Pit, and the Purification Salvo coming out just a little bit of damage here. They didn't have anybody slowed, and of course, you know, once again, we don't see any real slows, so they're not getting the best value out of the Purification Salvo. But they have all the pressure in the world. Top lane is pressed right up to the wall here, so expect to see that cause a little bit of damage here soon as both teams getting their camps. And now this gives the Spooky Ghosts a little bit of an advantage if they can take advantage of it quickly, as Reborn Knights coming down into this. Silver Jackal in the back now. Boundary X trying to channel, does get it with the ley line, and here comes the APOC, just a little bit late to get the mosh, but it is going to be able to get 3 in the back line, stalling things out for them. Silver Jackal just getting melted by Gul'dan and that nano boost, but Gul'dan's going to take it from Lunara. Dots for dots. The Celestial Charge landing onto Rogoth, but it's going to be Medivh in danger. Eric with a K trying to get out of it. Alazar chasing him down, but Diablo in the back trying to slow things down. Lunara getting taken out by the Phoenix, and Phoenix being taken out by Lily. Sleep Dart slowing the advance of Reborn Knights is 2-for-2 so far. No damage left on the side of Reborn Knights, but they're going to get that camp started because there's no damage on the side of Spooky Ghosts either, and they have less in the health pool arena. Not sure about that call. Trying to pause it for just a moment. There's no real way that they could do so, and ultimately Imperius still does a pretty significant amount of damage to the Diablo, so it could have been a really big problem for them if that had gone just a little bit longer. Let's see what we got over here with this Medivh birdie. Trying to soak up that XP, get them to 16 as they're slightly behind in that race, as 16 is now online for Reborn Knights. Takes down the mid fort, and we see Imperius clearing up the top lane and now riding with the cavalry in the top lane. Gul'dan clearing out this cavalry pretty quickly in the mid lane, so we're going to see them rotate up to the top, look to get this top fort down as Spooky Ghost heading down into the bot. Not sure exactly what they're doing with this rotation. I guess maybe they were thinking that they might catch the rotation up, but it seemed a long time that would have taken to get there. So the bottom cavalry is taken out before it gets any significant structure damage in the bot lane, so only the top cavalry, which is sitting at about half health. And they're set up down here. This boss isn't available, I don't think. I'm not sure what they're thinking. Like, this cavalry, this is I don't like this call even remotely. I mean, they're just sitting there. They're gonna lose a keep over this. Here they go. They're finally coming back, but they still lose this keep, right? And the boss wasn't even up. That was a huge misplay on Spooky Ghosts. But I also don't know that I like this. This seems like a very... Oh, okay. Okay, if you're gonna bait it, then so be it. That's fine. That's acceptable. There's no ley line. There's no apocalypse. You have all of your heroics. Having them funnel into an ETC mosh is certainly one way to make sure that they get some kills here. And if they get some kills here, they could end this game. You don't see a lot of kills... I'm sorry, you don't see a lot of games end with just one keep down. However, if you've got the boss and you get a couple of kills, then you can absolutely make that happen. And here we see this is an even fight. Both teams on the same tier. And we see the tanks going in first. Ana just popping around there trying to get away from the fight, but comes back into it. The Horrified does manage to keep Greymane out of the fight. Purification Salvo going out does not kill Greymane, but there's the mosh. Hits everybody! Good night. Only Diablo survives as he runs away, and now picking up the boss. This does take them a little bit to do. Ley line's available. They're not gonna lose the thing for sure, but I don't know if they can necessarily win the game quickly enough at this point, as everybody should be pretty close to back up, if not up already. So I think they tend to agree with me with that. So they're going to go ahead and just come down here and get the prison camp started. ETC is going to clear out the mid lane, try to get a little bit more pressure in the mid. And of course, the bottom fort's still available. So the bottom fort is not a danger for Spooky Ghosts. Cap Beach calling it out. What a play, right? There's the ley line onto ETC and Greymane setting up for something, but not everybody's here. So I don't know where that was going. Boundary X getting a lot of dot damage coming in from DK Unleashed. And now the boss on the core. With 40 armor, I guess I don't know which wins, the boss or the core. And we won't be able to see it, I don't think. So we'll watch that health bar on the core. It's gonna be close, but there's an entire wave of minions. This is no bueno. This could be game, and they're just locking them down here. I mean, we'll watch the fight, but look at the core. There's only 8k. ETC going down. Diablo going down as well. The Horrify onto 4, but look at this core. 1500. They win the... Oh, my God. What's happening? don't get it. I don't get it. I'm so confused. Stats 12 to 18 on the kills. We do see the game going over to Reborn Knights White. Wheaton. What a crazy game. Let's see. All right, we'll go there. So 12 to 18, taking a quick look at the damage numbers there. Lunara, of course, at the top. Spreading out that Splintered Spear. A little bit higher on the Ana healing this game. Lily getting ultimately the top there.
How's it going, Arrow?
Welcome, Silver Jackal. I'm doing fine. How you doing?
Good, except for that first game, you know?
You know what? You shouldn't have said it. You shouldn't have said it. You remember what you said to me in the before the game, right?
Yeah.
Yep. You shouldn't have said it. But that was, you know what? Let's start with that game one.
For sure, we had a little more stress since they're the bottom seed and we're on the top seed, so it's a little more stress that we cannot lose to them.
It happens, right?
Yeah. So I think we kind of slipped it up. We're rushing things we shouldn't. We got a game 2. We compose ourselves between the matches, and now we need to take a step back, slow it down, and do what we want instead of doing what they want.
Exactly, and you did. But I do have to say, game 1 was, you guys had some absolutely fantastic play there. You had one point where you got 19 points through a triple altar with 5 points each. You got the boss immediately after. And then it kind of, they got one good fight, and then it kind of just trickled in the other direction. So
yeah, we started being hasty after that, and it definitely hurt us.
So let's start there, because I'm going to talk about a lot of good things after this. So let's talk about the area that it kind of fell apart. So what happens for your team when you get into that moment, when you're having a little bit of a struggle? You have this big win, you take half of their points off of the board in literally what, a minute and a half, 2 minutes maybe, and then things start to trickle away, and then Dahaka gets caught and just blown away, and then Greymane as well. Like, that's kind of the 10-minute arc there. But what happens in comms, and how do you then, part 2 of the question is, how do you then come out of that game and say, okay, how do we win this? Like, what are your steps for that?
So what that happened there was a little miscommunication, and we recognized that as soon as it happened. We're like, yeah, Taka broed in too fast. We weren't able to get there with him in time. He said he should have, probably ISO'd all of them because he had it up. Just hindsight, you could see something like that. But we knew what the problem was, so we knew when the game ended. We took a step back, cleared our heads, and we just need to play a little more safe. Stop being so hasty and take the fights we want instead of taking the fights they wanted.
And
so
you
it's pretty much we knew exactly what we did wrong there.
Sure.
And so it's easier to fix those problems when you know what happened.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's hard to fix a problem you're not familiar with.
Yeah.
And I think I recall even saying either at the end of the game or shortly thereafter, that I thought what Dahaka was trying to do was come in, get the flank, get the big isolation kill, or not kill, but contagion onto the enemy team, and then setting up for the
it just happened a little awkwardly since he burrowed in a little too early. We didn't rotate fast enough, and it just went south from there.
Sure. And then you get into game 2, you go to Volskaya. Of course, you guys selected the maps for all 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
So you go into Volskaya, you're saying, hey, listen, we got to take the fights that we want. And you steal quote unquote, you take some of the heroes that they had in game 1 into game 2, and you get a couple of pretty impressive moshes. One started off with just like 1 kill, but then it blossomed into 3. Thanks to the Raider and the rest of the team showing up. You got some really solid camp timings and all that stuff in that game. So when you're in the middle of this game and quite literally it's in your favor, like every team fight that happens seems like it's just slightly to the right of center in your favor. Always the Lily in the background keeping people, honestly, in many cases just barely alive. And I did see it come in, T-Pull, so Pretend that I didn't, talk smack about your Lily pick in the second game there.
She's used to it. Everybody talks smack on it.
That's fair. So when you're setting up for the draft for that, what are you looking to get when you get those heroes, when you're banning out things like the Medivh and all that stuff? What are you trying to accomplish with that?
It was mostly scouting. I did a lot of intensive scouting, and through the grapevine, heard that they play really good Medivh. So we just we don't want to deal with it, so let's ban it out. And pretty much that's how the draft goes: is what do we want to do, what can counter it, what is their comfort picks. And
I did point out in the stream there that second game, Ana had 33k healing, I think. Obviously on the other team, and ETC out healer, by a third. They're 43k or something like that. Pretty significant difference there. So, and I think a lot of that was the Yrel play, and being so aggressive with that Avenging Wrath, right up in the face, and of course, taking those talents that give them mobility, the Hand of Freedom, and I don't remember the 7 name of it, but
it's pretty much a double cleanse for the Arthas.
Not only that, but also being able to chase down. You guys had a couple of those fights where maybe you get 1 kill, maybe you get 2 kills, but because Yrel's just chasing them down for the entire map, you end up getting 4, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just slowing them down, letting us catch up.
And so is that do you guys in general? I'm not going to ask you to give away any secrets or anything, but is Yrel a hero that you've played a fair bit? Or is it just kind of in that sweet spot for that that comp setup?
It's kind of more as Yrel right there is just, she was perfect for what they had to, stop the Arthas from coming in, to stop the healing from Ana, just to separate them and get picks. So we usually pick her, if it comes up, oh, Yrel will be great here, and that's what we do.
Sure. Then you get to game 3 on Alterac. They banned out Sylvanas, which I thought that they might take.
I was a little upset about. That's what I was planning on playing. So
of course you were. Of course you were. It's Sylvanas on Alterac Pass, right? It happens. They also banned Leoric a couple times. Obviously, I noticed that you didn't take that in the second game because, of course, you took Yrel. But apparently, I'm assuming that. Now I can't remember the name. Alizar, yeah. I'm assuming Alizar plays a mean Leoric.
He does, yes.
And Leoric could have certainly worked in a couple of those places there, but Alterac Pass, I got to start with their camp invade call. I thought it was a bad call. You guys capitalized on it. How much shouting and victory dancing were you guys doing when you get that early 4 kills out of that, and you took the camp right at the beginning? How did that feel for you guys?
It always feels good when you get the 4 kills and you get the camp. It's a risky call, and it played out well for us.
And so there was, there was a point, and I'm trying to remember if it was in this game or the last game. There was a point where it was in this game, I think, where you got 3 or 4 kills, but it was in Volskaya Foundry. You got 3 kills, and then you went and took their siege camp. All the forts were up. Why do you go for the siege camp instead of getting any structure damage? Because at that
we
point,
wanted
there
to
was
die
a
on the
full
camp,
push.
and we figured they would show up there. So at 3 down, we could probably get another pick.
Okay, so looking to get the hero pressure as opposed to the map pressure.
Yeah, we were trying to get get them to stagger at death, and also deny them that camp experience and the push.
Sure, okay. So, just last question for you here. What was your favorite moment of the matchup between you and Spooky Ghost?
Probably Eric saying thank you for the Medivh pick.
Of course. Fair enough. Well, good deal. You know what? It's late, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Floor is yours for any shout-outs you want to make.
All right, well, shout out to my team. We did a great job, Shout out to Spooky Ghost. Those good games. Shout out to you as well. Thank you for last minute casting this. Appreciate it. Also, shout out to NGS for having this whole season. We enjoy playing.
Good deal. And you guys recently changed your name before we take off here. Do you have anything you want to say about that?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It's kind of a new thing still, so we're still getting used to it. I still put RWT for almost everything and have to edit it.
I felt quite proud of myself that I think I only actually messed it up once, and a couple of times I kind of rolled it off as formerly known as or whatever.
Yeah, it's been a habit putting RWT in, so it's going to take some time to get used to it anymore.
So being a part of now of Reborn Knights, there are, I believe, 3 teams, red, white, and black. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we're white, red is in our division, and black's in east.
Gotcha. Good deal. Well, I think. Apparently Kooks is reminding you about shouting out Cat Peach, so it's a good thing we took this a little bit longer.
Sorry, Cat Peach. Shout out to you.
Cat Peach,
I
of
knew
course.
I was Southland.
Yes, Cat Peach, of course, reached out to me previously, specifically because of this game, to make sure that we got it adjusted on the schedule or something like that, because there was a little bit of, I guess, difficulty in making sure that happened. So glad that we were able to make this work. I'm really glad that I was able to catch the cast for you guys tonight rather than having to let it go to a replay. It was an absolutely just wonderful match to cast. Across the board, it was a fun time, and I appreciate you guys putting on a good show.
All right, thank you very much. You have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap us up for tonight. We had 2 matches tonight. Earlier, we had the real Ultimate Mosh Pit, as well as Buff Chen, and now Spooky Ghost versus Reborn Knights White. Both teams of which need new logos. Just saying. If you weren't checking out earlier, let me throw my schedule back up for you. So we do have a match tomorrow: Bloodbath and Beyond versus Disturbance B-Wast, coming out at 10 o'clock Eastern time. But in addition to that, Sunday at 2 o'clock, we're going to be debuting the newest NGS weekly show, the NGS Rewind, where you'll be able to catch up on multiple of the various replay casts for the week. Hopefully there are enough for me to grab. But typically expect to see 3 to 4 games. And these are games that are obviously a day or 2 or 4, in some cases, old. But it's a good opportunity for one to come see your team, as it maybe, didn't get to watch, obviously. Maybe there wasn't a POV stream or something like that. Shout out to, your friends or family or whomever, other teams who want to scout. But come check this out. It's going to take place on twitch.tv/Nexus Gaming Series. It will be a regular weekly event on Sunday afternoons. And you know what? If you miss HGC, what the hell else are you going to do on a Sunday afternoon for a few hours? Or I guess Sunday morning if you're Pacific time. So everybody, thanks again for joining me tonight between Spooky Ghosts and Reborn Knights White, formerly known as Running with Turtles. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate you stopping by, and we'll see you again soon.